Okay, it's live now. 안녕하세요, 여러분. Welcome, guys. Welcome to class, and thank you for joining. Please let me know if you can hear me in the live chat. And also, please let me know if the volume is okay, because I kind of volumed it up. 네, 좀 크게, 좀 볼륨을 좀 크게 했는데, let me know if it's too loud. I'll see if I can adjust it to a lower level. 아무튼 반갑습니다, 여러분. 그리고 make sure to download the link, download the worksheet in the description box, guys. The worksheet for this class, so you guys can write on that worksheet, whether you print it out or whether you transfer it to your tablet, PC, whatever works for you. 안녕하세요, 여러분. I see you guys comment. 케이드님, 안녕하세요. And 킬루느님, 안녕하세요. Thank you for joining the class. Once again, make sure to download the worksheet in the description box. 키스님도 오셨구나. 키스님, 안녕하세요. 네. 키스님이 하신 질문 있잖아요. The question you asked about the difference between 담다 and 넣다, I made sure to include that in this class. 이 수업에 넣었어요. 그리고 first time here. 진짜요? It's your first time taking my live class. That's exciting. That must be exciting. 다음에 안녕하세요, 여러분. 탈리아님 또 오셨네요. 안녕하세요. 그러면 새해 복 많이 받으세요. Happy New Year to you, Emerald님. 그러면 일단 오늘 수업을 시작할게요. I will start today's class. 일단은, so the first pair, I brought 7 pairs in total. That's 7 pairs, not 7 words. So there are way more words than just 7. But in each section, there's a lot to explain. So I'm not sure how long it's going to take. 네, 근데 아무튼 해봅시다. Let's learn those 7 pairs of synonyms in Korean. 일단은 the first one that I brought is, let me close this. The first one that I brought is the difference between 가다 versus 다니다. So I'm sure you guys all know 가다 means to go, right? As in going somewhere one time. So there's nothing in particular that 가다 implies other than going somewhere. But for 다니다, it has its own implication. So it's different from 가다. So if you've been studying Korean for a while, I'm sure you've heard 다니다 being used in multiple daily casual situations. 잠깐만요. 여러분, can you guys hear me? 잠깐만요. I want to check once more. Is the volume okay? 볼륨 괜찮아요? Would you like me to lower it, or is it just fine the way it is right now? 왜냐면 I intentionally made it sound 괜찮아요? yes, 다들 yes라고 하시네. Okay. Perfect. All right. 좋아요. Let me continue. So where was I? So if you have been studying Korean for quite some time now, I'm sure you've heard 다니다. In multiple, situations, multiple daily casual situations. But since it's used in many different forms of expressions, it might have been a little, unclear, like confusing to get the hang of its usage. And hopefully this class will clear your confusion regarding 다니다. 일단은, before we get into their detailed usages, first remember this keyword, guys. Keyword, frequently or regularly, and coming and going. This is the keyword of 다니다. If you remember this keyword, the rest of the usages, 다니다's usages, will be more easier. Will feel more easier for you guys to understand. 그럼 봅시다. Let's first start with its first usage, which means to go somewhere regularly with a specific purpose. So when 다니다 means this, to regularly visit a place, it's usually used like this, guys. Place에 다니다, or place을 다니다, or just place 다니다 without any particle in between. So you can use 에, which would mean to in this context, or 을을 object marker. It's also fine too. And you can simply omit particles and just say place 다니다, which would be, the easiest form. And they all mean the same thing, to regularly visit somewhere. And it's important to note that this purpose is important, guys. This purpose. For example, you wouldn't use it for going home, since that's a routine driven by residence, not a specific reason. And likewise, it wouldn't apply to, so let me write it here. So it doesn't apply to residence, doesn't apply to purpose of residence, and neither does it apply to places that you visit purely for casual hangouts. So purely for entertainment purpose, it doesn't apply to 다니다 either. So for example, you cannot say 집에 다니다. Home is a place where people go frequently, of course, but it's because they live there. So 집에 다니다 sounds unnatural, and you would instead say 집에 살다. You live in the house. And likewise, if you frequently visit your friend's house to hang out with him or hang out with her, you wouldn't say 친구 집에 다니다. Because it's for entertainment purpose. You're casually hanging out. So you can just say 친구 집에 자주 가다. You go there often. So this sounds more natural. If it's the purpose of visit for residence or entertainment. So it doesn't apply to 다니다 if it's for that purpose. 그러면 instead, you can use 다니다 for places like 도서관. Library, right? Library. If you go there frequently or regularly to study or to read books or whatever. 그래서 예를 들어서 you could say 도서관에 다녀요. 도서관에 다녀요. And this would imply you go there regularly. And if you want to indicate for what reason, you can also say 공부하러 도서관에 다녀요. This 러 is a suffix that comes after a verb, and then the following verb are moving verbs like 가다, 오다. 다니다 is also a moving verb, right? You go somewhere regularly. You come and go somewhere regularly. So it's often used with moving verbs like this. And this would mean you go or come or 다니다 somewhere in order to verb. So 공부하러 도서관에 다녀요. 공부하러 도서관에 다녀요. 아니면 you could also use it for places like 헬스장, right? 헬스장에도 쓸 수 있어요. Gym. 그래서 you could say to be in shape, basically. 몸을 만들다. Literally to make a body, so to be in shape, to make a good body. 몸을 만들러 헬스장에 다녀요. 이런 식으로 쓸 수 있어요. The places that you visit frequently. You could also use it for 병원에도 자주 쓸 수 있죠. If you go there regularly. You could also use it for places like 병원, hospital. People go there often. People go there regularly to get treatment, right? 치료를 받다. To receive treatment. 치료를 받으러 병원에 다녀요. 그리고 사프나님이 what about 운동장이라고 했는데 운동장이랑 헬스장은 다릅니다. 운동장 and 헬스장 mean different things. 헬스장 is gym and 운동장 is more like a playground. The sports ground, usually at school. 그래서 다릅니다. So 운동장 is located outside, whereas 헬스장 is usually located inside. So that's the difference. And you could also go to hospital for reasons like medical checkup, getting medical checkup. 건강검진을 받다. Medical checkup을 받으러 병원에 다녀요. You can say it like this, right? 그리고 And it's also very commonly used with schools and workplaces because if you are a student, you inevitably go to school regularly. And if you are an employee or a staff member, you naturally go to your workplace regularly. So in the context of schools, 다니다 would mean to attend, right? It would mean to attend school. So you can say, for example, if you are an elementary school student, you can say, I go to elementary school regularly, as in you attend there. So 초등학교에 다녀요. And it would be like saying, 초등학생이에요. Or 저는 초등학생이에요. You are an elementary school student. 저는 초등학생이에요. 그리고 if you are a middle school student, you could say 중학교에 다녀요. 중학교, middle school. And you could say 저는 that would mean 저는 중학생이에요. It applies to other schools like 고등학교, high school, and 고등학생, high school student. 그리고 대학생, 대학교, university, and 대학생, university student. So if you're a university student, you can say either 저는 대학교에 다녀요, or 저는 대학생이에요. 그럼 매일 병원에 가다 or 다니다 둘 다 괜찮아요. Both are fine. Both are fine. 그럼 매일 병원에 가다, 매일 병원에 다니다 둘 다 괜찮아요. 근데 이제 다니다 would more indicate you go there on a regular basis. But since you already wrote 매일, the adverb every day, it already indicates that you go there regularly. So in this case, whether you use 가다 or 다니다 doesn't really make, any difference. 그래서 둘 다 맞습니다. 거기서는 if you are a grad school student, you can say 대학원, 저는 대학원에 다녀요. I go to grad school regularly, as in you attend grad school. And you can also say 저는 대학원생. You are a grad school student. 그리고 그다음에 you can also be specific with which school you go to. If you are a Harvard student, you can say 하버드에 다녀요, right? 하버드에 다녀요. Or 저는 하버드 학생이에요. 저는 하버드 학생이에요. 둘 다 괜찮습니다. 그리고 다니다 means to attend in the context of school. However, please note, guys, that 다니다, and the English word attend are not completely the same. So like we learned, guys, 다니다 means attend only when it's in the context of attending schools and not attending anything else. So for example, like when I announce a live class on my channel's community post, I would see some of the comments saying something like 이 수업에 다니고 싶어요. I often come across this kind of sentence. But 다니다 cannot be used for a one-time visit or one-time attendance. So using it with 이 수업, this particular class, would sound unnatural. Of course, if you mean to say you want to come to my classes regularly, it's okay to say like 선생님의 수업에 다니고 싶어요. 선생님의 수업에 다니고 싶어요. 근데, however, the thing is, the term 다니다 is not applicable to online classes, and it's more suited for offline settings where you can physically visit a place. So if you want to express a desire to attend my YouTube or online classes, you can simply say, rather than using 다니다, you can say like, 선생님 수업을 듣고 싶어요. I want to 수업을 듣고 싶어요. So 수업을 듣다 literally means to listen to class, and it's a very common way of saying to take a class. 선생님 수업을 듣고 싶어요. 아니면 you could also say 선생님 수업에 참석하고 싶어요. 참석하고 싶어요. 참석하다 is also a really good word. 참석하다. 그리고 참석하다는요. 사실 요거는 이제 it means to attend somewhere like class or meeting. But what it implies is only one time. Unless you use adverbs that state otherwise, such as like 자주 or 매일. In that case, that would mean you attend the class or attend the meeting every day or often. But this word in and of itself means to attend something one time. For example, you can say 회의에 참석하다. 회의에 참석하다, which would mean to attend a meeting. 그래서 that's what 다니다 means, to attend, only in the context of schools. And when it's used in the context of workplaces, it means to work for your company, the organization that hired you, basically. 그래서 잠깐만요. What if I took a break from school for a year and I want to school attend again? If you take a break from school, as long as, unless you're suspended or unless you drop out of school, you're still a student, right? You're still a student. So you can still say 학교에 다녀요, but you can add more details. Like, 근데 지금은 휴학했어요. 학교에 다녀요. 근데 지금은 right now, 지금은 휴학했어요. 휴학 literally means taking a break. 휴식할 때 휴예요. Taking a break from studying. So you're taking a year off, a semester off, whatever. You're taking a break from school. 그래서 저는 지금 휴학하고 있어요 or 휴학 중이에요. You can add information like that. 그리고 so when it's used, so let me move on to the next usage of 다니다. So when it's used in the context of workplace, where you work, it means to work for somewhere, right? So the most basic way to say you work for somewhere, like you're employed somewhere, is you can say 회사에 다녀요. Literally means you go to 회사, you go to a company regularly, as in you work there. Or you could also say 직장에 다녀요. 직장에 다녀요. 직장에 다녀요. 그래서 직장 is the broadest term for workplace. And it can refer to any location where someone is employed or where work is carried out. So if you have a job, you are employed somewhere, right? So you can just say 직장에 다녀요. And this would perfectly deliver that you are currently working. You are employed somewhere. 직장에 다녀요. 직장에 다녀요. You can also be specific with where you work and say, like, for example, if you work at Samsung, you can say 삼성에 다녀요. Right? 삼성에 다녀요. You can state specifically where you work. You can also say 구글에 다녀요 if you work for Google or wherever. You can also say what kind of company you go to. What kind of company you work for, such as 교육회사. Education company. 에 다녀요. 아니면은 if you work for a publisher, 출판사. Publisher에 다녀요. 이런 식으로 쓸 수 있어요. 그리고 lastly, 다니다 can also be used in the context of traveling. Travel. 그래서 you can say 여행을 다니다. For traveling around, and it could mean either travel to various places regularly, or it could be travel to various places. So travel regularly as in just over your entire life, you travel regularly. Or it could also mean to travel to various places within like a limited period of time, not necessarily like all throughout your life. So travel to various places within limited period of time. 이렇게 쓸 수 있어요. 근데 one thing to note here, guys, is that you cannot say 여행에 다니다. 여행에 다니다. You cannot say 여행에 다니다. 왜냐면 여행 means travel, right? Travel, like trip. And this is not a place. This is not a specific place. So you cannot use it with 에. You can just say 여행 다니다 or 여행을 다니다. Okay? 그래서 if you, let me make one more page. So if you want to say you like traveling around, like you like going traveling, you can say 뭐 여행. You can say 여행하는 걸 좋아해요. 이것도 괜찮아요. 여행하는 거 좋아해요. 이것도 괜찮아요. I like basically traveling, but you can also say 여행 or 여행을 다니는 거 좋아해요. So 는 거 here is a nominalized is by adding 는 거 after a verb, you nominalize a verb, right? So 여행을 다니다 is a verb that means to travel around. 여행을 다니는 거 means traveling around. 여행 다니는 거 좋아해요. 그리고 during summer vacation, I traveled around to different places. If you want to say something like that, you can say 여름 방학 동안 여름 방학 동안 summer vacation 여름 방학 동안 여행을 다녔어요. I traveled around. 이런 식으로 쓰면 됩니다. 여행을 다녔어요. 다니다, I'm sure you guys can guess, is past tense of 다니다. 다니다's past tense입니다. So that's what 다니다 means. That's the first meaning of 다니다, to go somewhere regularly. So I'm sure this is not a difficult concept to get, but it becomes a little more difficult as we move on to the next usage. So the second usage of 다니다 is to go about one's business, as in to, do your everyday thing. And when it means this, it's usually used in this expression, 뭐뭐 하고 다니다, verb 고 다니다. So what this literally means is you verb and then you go about your day, go about your business. So it's like saying before or as you go about your day, you do verb. And it's often used for your daily or habitual actions. Let me write it here. Daily habitual actions. That doesn't end as a one-time action, but you keep doing it every day. So for example, if you usually like to tie your hair, you can say, to tie one's hair is 머리를 묶다. 머리를 묶다 means to tie one's hair, And if you want to say, you go about your day, or while you do your thing, you like to keep your hair tied, you can say, 저는 머리를 묶고 다녀요. 고 다니다. You can put 고 다니다 after a verb. 묶고 다녀요. This means literally you tie your hair and then you go about your business. So you keep your hair tied basically every day. And if you want to say you keep your makeup on every day as you go outside and meet people or do your thing, you keep makeup on, you can say 저는 매일 화장하고 다녀요. 화장하다. 잠깐만요. Let me write the English meaning. 잠깐만요. 화장하고 다녀요. 매일 화장하고 다녀요. And 화장하다 means to put on makeup. 매일 화장하고 다녀요. 아니면 let's say you are a pants person, not like skirt or dress person. You can say 뭐 치마를 안 좋아해서 치마 어디 갔어? 치마 means skirt or dress. So 치마를 skirt or dress를 안 좋아해서 치마를 안 좋아해서 바지만 바지 means pants. 바지만 입다. You wear it and then you go about your business. 입고 다녀요. 치마를 안 좋아해서 바지만 입고 다녀요. So you can say 바지만 입어요. You only wear pants. That's also okay. But 바지만, by saying 바지만 입고 다녀요, it further indicates that not just at home, but when you go outside and do whatever you need to do, you like to have your pants on, not skirts or dresses. 그리고 고 다니다 can also be used for negative habits. Negative habits. 아, 맞아요. 따뜻하게 입고 다녀요도 맞아요. You like to dress warmly. You like to dress thick clothes, basically. Wear thick clothes. 그럴 때 따뜻하게 입고 다녀요. 완전 맞습니다. Very good. 그리고 고 다니다 can also be used for your negative habits. So let's say your friend keeps telling you secrets, telling your secrets to other people. You can say 친구가 my friend 제 비밀을 말하고 다녀요. 말하고 다녀요. So my friend goes about her day, her business, telling other people about my secret. So it basically means she constantly blabs my secrets as they go about, right? And if you want to say my friend always goes about bragging about herself, you can use this word, 자랑하다. 자랑하다. 자랑하다 means to brag, to show off. To brag, show off. 그러면은 이제 제 친구는 자기 자랑하고 다녀요. 제 친구는 my friend 제 친구가 자기 자랑. 자기 means oneself. oneself 자랑, bragging about oneself. 자랑하고 다녀요. 이렇게 쓸 수 있습니다. 그리고 반팔 티셔츠를 안 좋아해서 긴팔 셔츠를 입고 다녀요. 맞아요. 맞습니다. 그리고 나 매일 한국어 공부하고 다녀요. 아니요. 이거는 어색해요. 사프나, this sentence is awkward. 사프나님, for the reason that when you study Korean, you don't go about your business. Do you guys understand? When you study Korean, you usually sit somewhere and you focus, right? It's not something that it's part of your daily routine, but it's not what you have on while you do your thing outside. So 한국어 공부하고 다녀요 doesn't make sense. So 고 다녀요 is all about your habit, as in something that you could keep on while you do those things, while you go about your business. 그래서 하고 다녀요는 좀 어색해요. 조금 어색합니다. 하러 다니다. So remember, 다니다 is about coming and going and frequently doing something. 그거를 기억하시면, I'm sure if you remember that keyword, it would be easier to understand why certain phrases sound awkward when used with 고 다니다. 고 다니다 have the nuance of always. 맞아요. 네, keyword is not necessarily always as in every single day, but it's more like regularly. So like I stated here, the keyword is frequently and regularly. 맞습니다. 그 다음에 이제 어디 갔어? 그리고 when 다니다 means to go about one's business, it can also be used in expressions like 뭐뭐 하러 다니다. We learned that law is used when you are expressing your intention, right? in order to verb, you do the next verb. And the next verb is usually a moving verb. Moving as in moving from one place to another place, right? 그래서 if you say verb 으러 다니다, it indicates that you 다니다, you move around various places with the purpose of doing a specific action, specific verb. And there isn't a specific designated place. There isn't a designated location. You go wherever you need to go or want to go to do that thing, to do your intention, to fulfill your intention. So for example, let's say your mother is a seller. 엄마는 판매원. So selling, how do you say? She's in the sales department or she's a seller. I can say she's a seller, right? It doesn't, show any disrespect, right? 엄마는 seller, 판매원이셔서. So 판매하다 means to sell. One is a person, so it's like a selling person. So 엄마는 판매원이셔서. My mom is a seller, so 옷을 팔러. 옷을 팔다 means to sell clothes. 옷을 팔러 다녀요. And as you can see, 러 다녀요 is used without, any specific location where she's headed. And in this case, it means my mom goes wherever she needs to go to sell clothes because she is a seller. The sales associate, saleswoman. Okay, salesperson. I think this would be a better word. Thank you, Haley님. 맞아요, sales associate. 그렇죠. 그리고 you can also say things like, let's say you like socializing and you like to go around various places to meet various people. You can say 저는 사람 만나는 걸 좋아해서. 그러니까 사람 means person, 만나다 means to meet, right? So it means to meet person, or it could also mean to socialize, because when you socialize, you meet people inevitably. So 저는 사람 만나는 거, and then you can put object marker, 리을. 사람 만나는 걸 좋아해서. I like socializing, so 다양한 사람들. 다양하다 means to be various. 다양하다 and modifier 니은 다양한 사람들. Various people 만나러 다녀요. 다녀요. 만나러 다녀요. So basically I go to wherever I want to go or need to go to meet various people. 다양한 사람들을 만나러 다녀요. Does 다니다 imply physically moving? Yes, like we learned in the previous section. Yes, 다니다 can only be used for physically moving. That's why I told you guys it cannot be used for attending online classes, right? All right. 그 다음에 Alright. 그리고 and let's move on to the third usage, which means to pass by. To pass by in terms of a road or street or even route. 그래서 so what passes by a road or street or route would include vehicles, right? Transportation or even people. 맞죠? Right? 그래서 let's first start with transportation. So you can say the name of a transportation and then say 뭐뭐이가 다니다. And this would mean the transportation runs. Like the bus runs, the subway runs, the taxi runs. So if you say 버스가 다니다, it means for a bus to run. So if you want to say buses run frequently near Seoul station, let's say, you can say 서울역 near Seoul station, 서울역 근처, nearby, 서울역 근처에 버스가 you can add adverbs like 자주, or you can say it without it. 버스가 다녀요. 서울역 근처에 버스가 다녀요. Buses come and go nearby Seoul station. 그리고 if you want to say during the late night, there aren't many cars running. Korean with 세연. 세연님께서 차가 여기 많이 다녀요. Yes, this is a perfect sentence. Here in this place, there are many cars running. Whatever here is, right? Whether it be a street or road. 좋아요. 그다음에 if you want to say cars don't run, there are not many cars running. You can say 뭐 너무 늦은 밤. Too late. Too late night, right? 밤 that is too late, night that is too late. 너무 늦은 밤에는 차가 there aren't many cars. 많이 다니지 않아요. 차가 많이 다니지 않아요. So we can use the negation verb, right? 다니다, 다니지 않다. 다니지 않다 means it doesn't run. 많이 다니지 않다 means not many run. 그렇죠. 너무 늦은 밤에는 차가 많이 다니지 않아요. 그리고 you can also say 사람이 다니다. 사람. So you can say 이 길에는 on this street. 이 길, maybe it's a very famous street. 이 길에는 사람들, or it's very convenient transportation-wise. So 사람들이 많이 다녀요. You can say people pass by. Many people pass by. 이 길에는 사람들이 많이 다녀요. 아니면 you could also say, so in English, there's school zone, right? School zone when you're driving. There's this zone called school zone. And school zone in Korean is 어린이 보호 구역. 어린이 보호 구역. It literally means kids protection area. So basically school zone. So we have to speed down, right? We have to reduce the speed when going through school zone. So if you can say things like 어린이 보호 구역에는 in the school zone 아이들, children, or 학생들 can also be okay. Students, 아이들이 많이 다녀요. Or let's elongate the sentence. 많이 다녀서 there are many kids passing by in school zone. So 속도 means speed. 속도를 줄이다 means to reduce. So 줄여야 해요. Meaning we have to reduce the speed. Basically, we have to slow down. 그리고 밤에 길에는 사람들이 많이 다니지 않아요. 좋아요. 그 다음에 이 길에는 okay, basically the same thing. 맞아요. 많이 다니지 않아요. 오케이, 좋아요. 그 다음에 let's see. Okay, so that's what and 다니다, when it means to pass by, can also be used in this expression. 뭐뭐로 다니다. And this 뭐뭐, this noun, can be either transportation or a certain street, road, route. So we learned that 으로 it has various usages, but its primary meaning is using. It means with as in using. So basically using this transportation or using this street, I like pass by. 그래서 예를 들어서 you could say 시간을 아끼려고, 시간 means time, and 시간을 아끼다 means to save time. So 시간을 아끼려고, 려고 is another suffix that can be attached after a verb to mean its intention. The only difference between 려고 and 으러 is that 으러 is also intention suffix, right? It can only be followed by moving verbs, as in moving from one place to another, such as 가다, to go, 오다, to come, or 다니다, like to come and go, to go regularly. But 려고 can be used with any other verbs. So it's not limited to moving verbs. It can be used with any verbs. So if you say 시간을 아끼려고 지름길로 다녀요. So basically, you take 지름길 means shortcut, guys. Shortcut. 로 다녀요. I pass by a shortcut. So I use shortcut in order to save time. 시간을 아끼려고 지름길로 다녀요. So you can use the name of the street, or you could also use it with transportation. For example, 저는 출퇴근할 때 여기서 출근하다 하면 to go to work 란 뜻이고요. 퇴근하다 하면은 to get off work 란 뜻이 있어요. 그래서 if you say 출퇴근하다 means to go to work and to get off work. So basically, when you go to work and when you get off work, when you commute to work, 출퇴근할 때 뭐 지하철로 다녀요. I use subway. 지하철로 다녀요. Basically, I take the subway. Take the subway. 그리고 아끼 is a verb. 아끼 comes from 아끼다, which means to save time. So 아끼다's primary meaning is to use something sparingly. You don't waste it. You use it sparingly. So when you use it with 시간, time, then it would mean you use time sparingly, as in you kind of save time. That's what 아끼다 means. 아끼다. It's a really good word. It can also be used for your money. If you use your money sparingly, that's a good habit. 돈을 아끼다, right? 돈을 아끼다. Alright, 좋아요. 그 다음에 다니다 is also often used in this expression. 다녀오다 and 다녀가다. I'm sure you guys have heard of 다녀오다 and 다녀가다 multiple times, right? 그래서 다녀오다 잠깐만요. 어디 갔어? So to break it down, 다녀오다 and 다녀가다, to break it down, guys, it's combination of 다니다 plus 어서 오다 and 다니다 plus 어서 가다. So literally, you pass by, or go through a certain route. Or you go through a certain route and then you come back. So basically, you go through a certain route that you need to take to get to where your destination is, and then you come back. And it means, and 다녀가다 would mean to take a route to get to wherever your destination is, and then go, and then leave. 그런 뜻이에요. That's what it means literally. So let's learn its most frequent usage, guys, starting from 다녀오다. 잠깐만요. So this would become 다녀서 오다, right? 근데 oftentimes 서 is omitted. So you can just say 다녀오다. For this one as well, 다녀서 가다. But oftentimes 서 is omitted. So 다녀가다, you can just say it like that. Then let's learn 다녀오다's usage first. So 다녀오다 is often used in a temporary farewell, like wishing someone well on their journey to a particular destination. So expressions like 다녀오세요 in polite language and 다녀와 in casual language are often used to convey both a farewell and a safe return, basically. 그래서 한국 드라마, when you watch K-drama, before their parents leave to work, kids would send them off in front of their house or at the door and say, 다녀오세요, 다녀오세요. Literally, take your route to your destination and then come back safely. 다녀오세요, 다녀와. 그렇게 많이 쓰여요. 그리고 if you are the one that's leaving and you want to say goodbye, temporary goodbye, and imply at the same time that you'll be coming back, then you can say 다녀올게요 in polite language and in casual language, 다녀올게. 다녀올게. Temporary farewell usually to someone that you live together with or someone that's expecting you to come back. That would be waiting for you while you're gone. So it's an expression of farewell in those kinds of situations. 그리고 let me add more pages. 그리고 다녀오다가요. It's also used casually for places you have been today and then you come back. Like not necessarily today, but in the past. 다녀왔어요. So if you want to say you went to school earlier and now you came back, you can say 오늘 학교에 다녀왔어요. Basically, I went there and then I came back. 학교에 다녀왔어요. 오, 이거 너무 좋아요. 방탄소년단은 군대에 조금 slight mistake만 고쳐드릴게요. 군대, I think it's typo. 군대에 빨리 다녀올 거예요. 엄청 좋아요. 이거 너무 좋은 example sentence예요. Very good example sentence. So basically, the boy band, BTS, has all enlisted in the army. And so, yeah, they have gone to the army, and then soon they will. They went there, right? They took whatever route was needed to enlist to get to the army, and then they will come back. 올 거예요. So 세연님 is like saying they will come back from the army soon, the military soon. 좋아요. 학교에 다녀. 그 다음에 you could also say like if you've been to Korea before, you can also say 한국에 다녀왔어요. You can also say like this. 다녀왔어요. And this implies you have been to Korea and now you're back to your home country. Alright, 좋아요. 그리고 날씨가 너무 더워서 편하게 입고 다녀오세요. 이것도 너무 좋습니다. 편하게 입고 and then 다녀오세요. 너무 좋아요. Perfect. 좋아요. 그 다음에 let's cover 다녀가다 this time. 다녀가다. When it comes to 다녀가다, it implies that someone visited a particular destination and then left. So it can be used in sentences like 오늘 우리 가게에 손님 20명이 다녀갔어요. 좋아요. 그래서 오늘 우리 가게에, so 가게 means store. It could mean shop as well. So 우리 가게, our store, my shop. 에 손님, guest or customer. 손님 20명. 12, right? 12 customers 다녀갔어요. Basically today to our store there has been 20 customers that came by and left. 그리고, so basically visited, right? Visited our place. And by saying 가다, by adding 다녀가다, it implies that they're not here anymore. 그쵸? 그리고 예를 들어서 you could also say things like 아까, a little while ago, or earlier today. 아까 낯선 사람이 다녀갔어요. 낯선 comes from 낯설다, which literally means for their face to be awkward, so face to be unfamiliar. So 낯설다 means unfamiliar. So unfamiliar person means stranger. So someone that I don't know, 낯선 사람이 다녀갔어요. Let's add 집에. A stranger came by the house earlier today. So this 다녀가다 implies that that person was here and then he left. So he's not here anymore. 다녀갔어요. 좋습니다. 그 다음에 이제 다니다. So it took 50 minutes, more than 50. It's taking more than 50 minutes, almost like an hour to explain just 다니다's usage. Wow. Wow, it's crazy. We have 6 more pairs to cover. I really hope that we make it to the last single, every single one. We can cover every single one. All right. So the last usage of 다니다 is to get along or to spend a lot of time with a particular person or particular people within a larger group, like school or workplaces. So, guys, let me give you an example from the movie The Mean Girls. 혹시 여러분 Mean Girls 알아요? Do you guys know the movie Mean Girls? 잠깐만요. 여기 사진 보여드릴게요. 슉. 여기 보시면 Mean Girls 아시죠? So I'm referring to this movie just because it's one of the most internationally famous movies set in high school. So I thought a lot of you guys have watched it or at least heard about it. Right? So let me give you the example sentence regarding this movie. So 잠깐만요. In the movie The Mean Girls, Mean Girls에서 잠깐만요. Let me give you the sentence first. 영화 Mean Girls에서 잘 알아요? 오웬 씨만 알아요? 다른 분들은 어때요? How about the rest of you guys? 이 영화 몰라요? 이 영화 모르면 사실 너무 진짜 어리다는 뜻인데 이렇게 generation gap이 또 느껴지네요. If you guys don't know the movie Mean Girls, it means you guys are super young. So 네, I kind of feel the generation gap here. But 일단은 영화 Mean Girls에서 여주인공 KD는 플라스틱 여자애들 하고 다녀요. 영화 Mean Girls에서 on Mean Girls, the 여주인공. So 여 means female, 주인공 means hero or heroine of the story. So the female protagonist, KD는 so plastic is the name of a group. So plastic 여자애들 means female kids. So it's like girls. So plastic girls 하고 다녀요. 이렇게 돼 있는데요. So let me give you a brief context of this movie, guys, if you guys have never heard of it. So in the movie, 잠깐만요. 어디 갔어? Where are the photos? There you go. In the movie Mean Girls, this girl in the middle is Katie. She's the protagonist, and she spends a lot of time with the plastic girls. These are plastic girls. The rest of the 3 girls behind her, they're the plastic girls. And so they basically sit at lunch together, and they walk through the hall together, and they do school performances together. Yeah, so basically they 다니다 together. They spend a lot of time together in school. So you can say, KD는 those girls, those plastic girls 하고 다니다. And it's usually used in the context of school or workplaces. Usually, not all the time. It could be used outside school or workplaces, but most commonly it's used in school or workplaces. Because in larger groups like schools or workplaces, you don't hang out with every single person. Usually that's not what it happens, right? Unless you are unless you're socially active, right? Very socially active. So 다니다 kind of means, they kind of single out a person or a group that you spend most of your time with compared to other people. 그런 뜻이 있어요. Person, people 하고 다니다. 그래서, for example, if you want to say like you get along with, I get along with my closest colleagues at work, you can say, 저는 회사에서, in the company or at work. You can also say 직장에서, right? 저는 직장에서, the closest peer, the closest colleague. 저는 직장에서 or 회사에서 가장 친한 동료들하고 하고 다녀요. 이렇게. The point here is that you have to use 하고, which means with, right? With as in with a person. And it can also be used with other particles that mean with a person, such as 이랑 or 랑, 와 and 과, 다니다. 그래서 저는 회사에서 가장 친한 동료들하고 다녀요. With the colleagues, 동료들. The colleague that 친하다 means close as in your distance, as in your relationship is close. You guys are intimate. You guys are close. So the most close, so closest colleague 하고 다녀요. 이런 식으로 쓸 수 있습니다. 하고 다녀요. It doesn't mean anything negative, guys. 다니다. It just indicates that, you spend most of your time, a lot of time with a particular person or a group of people at school or at work or wherever big group, or whatever big group that you're involved in. 좋아요. Alright. 그러면 이제 that's it for 다니다. Wow. So it took about like an hour to explain 다니다's usages, and now finally we're moving on to the next pairs. Alright, so 처음, the difference between 처음, 먼저, and 일단. So they all mean first, but different first. They mean different first. So 처음 means for the first time. It's your first time doing something. That kind of first time you have to use 처음. 그래서 처음 and 처음으로 are interchangeable. They both mean for the first time. 그리고 먼저 means first, as in you do something before you do everything else, or I forgot to add here, or do something before everyone else. So it indicates temporal precedence, meaning precedence in terms of time. In terms of time. 좋아요. 그리고 일단은요. 일단 means first, as in you do something first, and then you see what happens next. So it's like saying, let's just do something first before even knowing the consequences. Kind of like that. 일단은 볼게요. 그러면 잠깐만요. So 한국 음식을 처음 먹었어요. 여러분, what would this mean then? 한국 음식을 처음 먹었어요. What would this mean? This would mean you ate 한국 음식, Korean food, 처음, right? For the first time. 맞아요. I ate Korean food for the first time. I've never tried it before. I tried it today and it was my first time. That's what 처음 indicates. 그러면 여러분, how about 한국 음식을 먼저 먹었어요. How about this one, guys? 먼저 먹었어요. 한국 음식을 먼저 먹었어요. So it would likely be in the context of trying many different foods, and before trying everything else, you tried Korean food first, right? Before you do whatever action or before you eat whatever, you had Korean food first, right? So precedence in terms of time, that's what it indicates. 그리고 it could also mean this. I ate Korean food before anyone else. 맞아요. It could also be used in this context. 제가 한국 음식을 먼저 먹었어요. 좋아요. 그리고 how about 한국 음식을 일단 먹었어요. What would this indicate, guys? What would this indicate? 일단. So like we learned, 일단 means first, but it specifically implies doing something first and then see what happens next, right? So this would mean like you first had Korean food, you have no idea what it's going to be like, right? But you're going to see what happens next. 일단 먹었어요. Or maybe you weren't allowed to eat Korean food right now, but you had it anyways. 일단 먹었어요. 일단 let's see what happens next. Kind of like that. 한국 음식을 일단 먹었어요. 그러면 여러분, so that's the difference between 처음, 먼저, and 일단. 그러면 여러분, here's a quick quiz, guys. 식중독에 걸렸지만, so 식중독 means food poisoning. 걸리다 means to contact the disease. So you basically you caught or you contact. Is it contact or contract? Sorry guys, I'm getting really confused with this English word. Contact the disease or contract the disease? I think it's contact, right? 식중독에 걸렸지만 I contacted basically food poisoning. I have food poisoning basically. 식중독에 it's contract. All right. Sorry guys. Contract illness. Contract illness. So 식중독에 걸렸지만 I have food poisoning. 식중독에 걸렸지만 너무 배가 고파서 I'm too hungry. 너무 배가 고파서 blank 음식을 먹었어요. 일단 여기서 in this blank guys, which one do you think would sound more natural? 처음 or 먼저 or 일단? So you have food poisoning. You're not allowed to have food, but you're too hungry, so you're just going to have it anyways and see what's going to happen next. In that kind of, if you want to deliver that kind of meaning, that nuance, it would be 일단. 그렇죠. 일단이 맞겠죠. 일단 먹었어요. 일단 먹었습니다. 일단. 맞아요. 그러면 how about this one? Let's say your teacher tells you to raise your hand, and she'll give the book to the first person that raised their hand. And so a couple of you guys raise your hands, and you're sure that you raise your hand first before anyone else. Then which adverb would suit this sentence, guys? 손 들다, hand raise. So to raise your hand. So if you're sure that you raise your hand first before everyone else, 그쵸? Then you can say 먼저가 맞죠. 먼저 손을 들었어요. 먼저. 만약에 if you say 처음 here, 제가 처음 손 들었어요. This means you did the action of raising your hand for the first time. 처음 is that initial engagement in a certain activity, not temporal precedence, not precedent in terms of time. So in this context, 먼저가 맞습니다. 먼저. 제가 먼저 손 들었어요. blank 배워요. It's your first time. You learn Korean for the first time, basically. Which adverb should you put? 한국어를 그렇죠. 처음이죠. 처음 배워요. 처음. Because it's your first time learning Korean. 처음 배워요가 맞습니다. Alright. 그리고 I actually brought one more. 잠깐만요. 페이지 추가. So I didn't write it in the title of the section, but another word that confuses a lot of learners is 우선 as well, guys. 우선. 우선 and 먼저, or what a lot of learners kind of get mixed up. 일단은 먼저, like we learned, it's about temporal precedence, meaning what happened earlier than everything else, or you did that before everyone else, while 우선 is more about priority that reflects priority in terms of order or importance. Or something that you will do first. You will cover first. So 그 뭐지? When Korean people are making a speech, they very commonly say 우선 and then start their I don't know, the part they need to cover. So 우선, blah 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 means you're gonna start with this part first. 뭐 우선 예를 들어서 in this class I could say 오늘은 우선 in today's class 오늘은 우선 뭐 다니다에 대해서 배워보겠습니다. Which means so today we're first gonna learn 다니다. 근데 사실 when 우선 means priority in terms of order, it can be interchangeably used with 먼저, right? Because what comes first is what happens first. 근데 when 우선 means priority in terms of importance, they're not interchangeable. 우선 and 먼저 are not interchangeable when it means priority in importance. Only 우선 can be used. So, for example, guys, 예를 들어서 우선 손을 들었어요. Keith님, like step 1, 그렇게 말할 수도 있죠. 그리고 우선 is an adverb. It's an adverb, so you cannot say 우선을. It is an object marker, which can only be used with nouns, right? 일단은, let's look at this sentence, guys. 우선 손을 들었어요. Would this mean I raise my hand first before everyone else? Would this mean that, guys? Please tell me if it's right or wrong. I raise my hand first before everyone else. Does it mean this, guys? Is it O or X? 그쵸? No예요. No입니다. 맞습니다. 헤일리님. No예요. 왜냐면 우선 does not indicate precedence in terms of time. 아니죠. 그러면 what would it likely mean? 우선 손을 들었어요. It's more like I raise my hand because I thought that was the most important thing to do in a given situation, whatever that situation is. 우선. 그래서 일단은 우선은 그렇고 사실 우선은 좀 formal situation에 많이 쓰여요. 우선 is more often used in formal situation compared to casual. 그래서 일단은 if it's too much, guys, you can just remember the difference between 처음, 먼저, and 일단. 맞아요. 그리고 alright. 그다음에 let's move on to the third one. So the difference between 어쨌든, 하여튼, 아무튼 and 어차피. 일단은 어쨌든이랑 하여튼, 아무튼 they both mean pretty much the same thing and they are interchangeably used. 어쨌든, 하여튼, 아무튼. And 어차피 has a different meaning from the rest of the three. 그래서 일단은 보겠습니다. 어쨌든, 하여튼, 아무튼 mean anyway. And the kind of anyway as in whatever was said previously. 그래서 어쨌든이 이런 뜻이라서 어쨌든 has this meaning. So it's also often used when changing the topic of the conversation. So you say something and then you change the topic and they then say something else. In that kind of situation, in English, you can say anyway or like moving on, right? So 어쨌든, 하여튼, 아무튼 can also have that kind of usage. 일단은 잠깐만요. 여러분, 제가 to help you guys understand better, I brought this two clips from K-drama. 근데 여러분, 혹시 have you guys been watching Singles Inferno season 3 by any chance? 그거 진짜 entertaining. This season is really entertaining. 진짜 season 3 is the most entertaining. I'm like I assure you guys, there's like this obvious villain, and then yeah, it's so interesting. So I really recommend you guys watch it, and I've been loving every episode so far. Yes, LOL. I understand why you said LOL. 관이 제일 재밌어요. 관이 맞아. 맞아요. 일단은 그래서 I brought this one scene from Singles Inferno season 3 where 어쨌든 is used. So let's take a look at it together. 어디 갔어? 여기 있다. 어디가 또 스크린 쉐어. 여러분 클립 보이시나요? 잠깐만요. 슉슉슉. 오케이. 클립 보여요? 오케이. 클립 보이시죠? 그래서 지금 일단 볼게요. So I cannot share the whole part because of the copyright issue, as you guys know, but I'll explain the context. So let's hear what the sentence has to do with 어쨌든.
세 명 중에 먼저
어쨌든 결론은 너한테 다가와주길 원하는 거잖아.
지금 여기 지금 여자가 this guy is so the context is this guy in the red shirt. So it's probably intentional. He is red flag. So the guy in the red shirt kind of keeps rambling on about why he has, why he's been leading on the three girls. And then this woman, she was one of the girls that Kwan-hee, the guy in the red shirt, was leading on. And she says, 어쨌든 결론은 너한테 다가와 주길 원하는 거잖아, 지금. 어쨌든이라고 했어요. So she's like saying, whatever you just said, 결론은, the conclusion is, the bottom line is, 너한테 다가와 주길 원하는 거잖아. You want me to come to you every time, don't you? 약간 이런 뜻이에요. So 어쨌든 is used in that context. 좋아요. 그리고 이제 어쨌든, 하여튼, 아무튼, they're interchangeable. So let's watch another clip that has 아무튼 in it. 잠깐만요. I'll explain the context later. So let's watch first.
그래서 버렸어요. 아무튼 나 못 키워요.
여기서 보면, so this guy, in the previous scene, this guy also keeps rambling on about why he had to throw away the dog that he adopted. And so, 그래서 버렸어요. So that's the reason why I abandoned the dog. And then he continues to say,
아무튼 나 못 키워요.
아무튼 나 얘 못 키워요. So, 아무튼, as in whatever I just said, the point is, 못 키워요. I can't raise him. I can't take him. So 아무튼 is used like that. Whatever you said or whatever I said, the point is. That's what it implies. 아무튼, 어쨌든, 하여튼. 잠깐만요. Let's go back to our class. 그래서 어쨌든, 하여튼, 아무튼 they can be interchangeably used. 그리고 사실 이 어쨌든, 하여튼, 아무튼이 when they're used in online language, like in like social media, in the comment section of social media or when texting, 어쨌든은 it's shortened as 쨌든. It's not like proper standard dictionary form word, but that's what we use in online language. And 하여튼은, it's shortened to 하튼 or 할튼. 그리고 아무튼은 it's shortened as 암튼 in online language. So again, guys, this is not a proper dictionary form, but we just happen to use it. We just use it in online language as an online language. 어쨌든 can also mean by the way. 맞아요. Like we learned. 어쨌든, 하여튼, 아무튼 can also be used when you're changing the topic of the conversation. So like, by the way, anyway, moving on. It can mean that. Alright. 그리고 다음에 이제 어차피 means something different. So it means anyway, as in a particular situation or action won't change. 어차피. So for example, guys, a particular situation or action won't change, as in it will stay in a certain way regardless of whatever you do. So for example, let's say your class starts at 9 a.m. Let's say your class starts at 9 a.m., but you woke up at 8:30 a.m. and your school is like 40 minutes away. So in that case, whatever you do, the fact that you're late won't change, right? So you can use 어차피 in this situation. So for example, you can say, I'm late anyways, right? I'm late anyway, so I'm gonna take my time. 그럴 때는 어차피 늦었으니까 어차피 늦었으니까 어차피 늦었어. I'm late. I'm late. The fact that I'm late doesn't change. 어차피 늦었으니까 I'm late anyway. So 천천히, slowly, as in taking your time. 천천히 준비할래. 준비하다 means to get ready. I will get ready slowly, as in I will take my time getting ready. I'm late anyways. Whatever I do, no matter how much I try to hurry, I'm late. The fact that I'm late doesn't change. I'm late anyway. So you can say 어차피. 그리고 어차피 늦어서 천천히 출근해요. 맞아요. I'm gonna go to work by taking my time because I'm late anyway. 그런 식으로 쓸 수 있어요. 그리고 it's something I need to do anyway, so I won't postpone it. For example, you can say 어차피, it's something I need to do anyway. The fact that it's something I need to do doesn't change. So 어차피, you can use 어차피 in that context. 어차피 해야 하는 일이다. 어차피 해야 하는 일이다. Something is 일. It means thing, right? The thing that 해야 하다, I have to do anyway. 어차피 해야 하는 일이다. It is. So 미루지 않을 거예요. I won't push it back. 미루지 않을 거예요. 미루지 않을 거예요. 미루다 means to postpone something. Push something back to later time or later date. 그래서 I won't push it back. 미루지 않을 거예요. That's what 어차피 mean. So that's the difference between 어쨌든, 하여튼, 아무튼 and 어차피. 그 다음에 보시면 그 다음에 the next pair is 넣다 and 담다's difference. So I believe this question comes from Keith님. 일단 볼게요. 일단은 let's look at 넣다's meaning first. 넣다 means to put something in somewhere, like to put something inside somewhere. And its second meaning is to add something into a mixture, like ingredients. So like adding salt to your food, adding sugar to your coffee, that kind of adding. You can use 넣다. 그리고 담다 only means to put something in somewhere. So when it means this, it has the same meaning with 넣다, right? So basically, many times, 넣다 and 담다 can be interchangeably used without changing any meaning. So the difference between these two is more a matter of which one is used more commonly by native speakers. So let's first look at the common usage of 담다. The usages where Korean people use 담다 most commonly over 넣다. Instead of 넣다, they use 담다 in this situation. So for example, the first usage of 담다 is putting food or water or beverage, whatever you can eat or drink, into a container. 이럴 때 담다를 써요. 예를 들어서 음식을 잠깐만요. Let me write it with the pen. Another pen. 음식을, food를 그릇에 담다. Dish에 담다. You put the food in a dish, right? Inside a dish. 그리고 물을 병에 담다. 물 water, 병, bottle. 담다. You put water inside the bottle. In this case, we also more commonly use 담다. And I'm not saying 넣다 doesn't suit this context. 넣다 is also okay, but Korean people more commonly say 담다 in this situation. 그리고 you could also say like 커피를, put coffee in a cup. You can say 커피를 컵에 담다. Because coffee is what you can drink. 이럴 때는 담다. You can use 담다. 그리고 담다 second usage is placing your purchases, what you're shopping, in a cart or a shopping bag. 그래서 when you are shopping or even grocery shopping, for example, you can say to put your items in a cart. So in that put, for that put, you can use 담다. 카트에, 카트 means cart. 카트에 담다. Like I said, 넣다 is also fine, but 담다 is more commonly used. 그리고 뭐 쇼핑백, a shopping bag, 쇼핑백에 담다. 아니면은 to put something in a plastic bag, you can say 봉지에 담다. 봉지에 담다. Plastic bag. Let me write it here for you. 봉지, plastic bag. 그래서, so after you guys pay for your purchases, if you would like an extra bag to carry your items in, then you can ask the cashier something like 뭐 쇼핑백에 담아주세요. Oops. Let me use this color. 쇼핑백에 쇼핑백 in the shopping bag 담아주세요. So you're asking the cashier to put your items inside a shopping bag. Please, can I get an extra bag? 쇼핑백에 담아주세요. Or 뭐 봉지, plastic bag. 봉지에 담아주세요. 봉지에 담아주세요. When you're asking somebody to put your purchases in an extra bag, you can use 담아주세요. 담아주세요. Haley 님이, what is the difference between 봉지 and 봉투? So technically, dictionary-wise, 봉지 is plastic bag and 봉투 is paper bag. 근데 in terms of practicality, they're interchangeably used when it means plastic bag. So 봉지 and 봉투, they both mean plastic bag. I mean, at least in practicality, in practical situation, they're interchangeably used. But when it comes to paper bag, you can only use 봉투. So in short, 봉지 can only mean plastic bag. 그리고 봉투 means paper bag, but it can also be used to mean plastic bag. Because, I don't know, maybe Korean people are too lazy to distinguish 봉지 and 봉투 for plastic bag, so they decided to use both. Maybe. In Korea, clerk will... that's what I'm saying. Yes, in reality, in practical situation, 봉투 and 봉지 are interchangeably used, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. All right. 그 다음에, so that's the second usage of 담다. 그 다음에, the third usage of 담다 is that it can be used for something abstract or metaphorical. So, for example, I can say, I put my love into this class. I put my love into this class. I can say 담다 for put. 이 수업에, in this class, 사랑을, love를 담았어요. So, 사랑 is something intangible, right? It's something that's abstract. That's, intangible. So, for saying things like that, for putting things like that, something abstract, you can use 담다, not 넣다. 이 수업에 사랑을 담았어요. And this is also a very commonly used expression. 마음에 담다. 마음에 담다. Literally means to put something in your heart. So it means to keep in your heart, as in you remember something for a long time. It could be a bad memory. It could be a good memory. It could be what someone said that made you happy. It could be what someone said that offended you, whatever. You keep at your heart. 마음에 담다. 마음에 담다. Alright. 그래서 담다 has those three usages, and other than those three usages, for the rest of the other situations when you're putting something inside somewhere, you can use, we mostly use 넣다. 예를 들어서, for example, 넣다. For example, you put your underwear in your drawer. In your drawer, you can say 뭐 속옷 means underwear, literally inside clothes. 속옷을 서랍에 넣다. not 담다. 서랍에 넣다. 그리고 뭐 예를 들어서 let's say you're watching a magic show and the magician tells you to put your hand in a hat. Put your hand in a hat. Then he can say something like 손을, your hand, 모자에 넣으세요. not 담으세요. not 담으세요. 넣으세요. 아니면 to put money in your wallet, you can say 돈을 지갑에 넣다. 돈을 지갑에 넣다. 돈 means money, cash. 지갑, wallet. So you put your money in your wallet. 그리고 for gassing up your car, for putting gas in the car, we say 기름을 넣다. 기름을 넣다. not 담다, we say 넣다. 기름 means oil. And in English, you guys say gas, we say oil. So basically, 기름을 넣다 means to gas up your car. So it's interchangeable with 지불하다, which is a slightly more advanced word for putting gas in your car. 지불하다 literally means to inject oil. Inject oil. So 기름을 넣다, 지불하다, they mean the same thing. 그리고 설탕 한 스푼 넣으세요. 그렇죠. In that case, you're adding the ingredient to another mixture. So 넣다 is would be natural choice. 좋습니다. Alright, that's the difference between 담다 and 넣다. 그 다음에 moving on to 꾸미다 and 장식하다. This is actually pretty easy to distinguish because 장식하다, 꾸미다, they both mean to decorate and adorn, but 장식하다 only applies to non-living things, whereas 꾸미다 is for both non-living things and living things. 그래서 living things can include your pet. It can also include people, including yourself. 그래서 so basically when you're decorating yourself, basically 뭐 나를 꾸미다, when you're decorating yourself, what you do is you're dressing up, or basically you do whatever that enhances your look in general. It enhances your looks in general with decorative elements such as makeup, accessories, or stylish clothing, right? So 꾸미다 can mean enhancing one's looks with decorative elements. That could be makeup, clothes, or accessories. 그러면 여러분, I brought this short quiz here. How would you would it be which word among 장식하다 and 꾸미다 would be correct? It could be both. So 크리스마스 트리 is Christmas tree. Would you say, how do you say decorate a Christmas tree? Would you say 크리스마스 트리를 장식하다 or 꾸미다? 크리스마스 트리를 장식하다 or 꾸미다 or both? 어떤 게 맞을까요? 그쵸? 둘 다예요. 둘 다. 왜냐하면 꾸미다 can be for both non-living and living. 장식하다 for non-living. So 크리스마스 트리를 장식하다, 꾸미다 둘 다 괜찮습니다. 그 다음에 how about 집. To decorate your house, to adorn your house. 집을 장식하다 or 꾸미다 or both. 어떤 게 맞을까요? House is a non-living thing. So, 그렇죠. Both입니다. Both. House is a non-living thing. 그래서 you can say 집을 장식하다, 꾸미다. 그 다음에 how about the last one? 제 친구는, my friend, 화장 means makeup. 패션, I'm sure you guys can guess, it means fashion. 에 관심이 많다. 관심 means interest. So 관심이 많다 means you have a lot of interest. So she's interested. She's interested in makeup and fashion a lot. So 매일 every day 꾸미고 다녀요 or 장식하고 다녀요. 어떤 게 맞을까요? 그렇죠. 꾸미다가 맞아요. 왜냐면 she's talking about herself. Her friend who is a living thing, a person. So 매일 꾸미고 다녀요 would mean she basically dresses up and goes about her day, right? 꾸미고 다녀요. Or she basically enhances her looks with whatever decorative elements, right? 좋아요. 그리고 그다음에 so this was pretty easy. 그다음에 let's move on to the next one. 이동하다, 움직이다, and 이사하다. 일단은 이동하다는요. They all mean to move in English, but slightly but different move. They each mean different move. So 이동하다 means to move as in from one place to another. So 이동하다. So 이동하다's result have to be you go from one place to a different place. Your position, your location has to change from 이동하다, right? 그리고 움직이다 means to move as in movement or action in any form. Even slightly flinching, you 움직이다, right? 움직이다. 그리고 이사하다 means to move as in to move your residence. So move your house, basically. So change your address, change the place you live, change your house. 그런 뜻입니다. 일단은 그러면 to better distinguish the difference between 이동하다 and 움직이다, I brought a clip from Squid Game. 잠깐만요. 그래서 볼게요. 아이고. 보겠습니다. 일단은 먼저 볼게요. Squid Game. 아이고, 이거 아닌데. 잠깐만요. 어디 갔어? 여기 있다. 그리고 여기 있다. 일단은 Squid Game에서 there's always this woman that makes an announcement in Squid Game, right? Like telling the contestants, the participants what to do. And so she says here, 잠시 후 첫 번째 게임이 시작됩니다. In a moment, the first game will start and then 이동해 주시기 바랍니다. 참가자들은 진행 요원의 안내에 따라 이동해 주시기 바랍니다. So basically, she used 이동하다, 이동해 주시기 바랍니다, because she's instructing the participants to move to a game site. The game site, the place where the game will take place. So basically, they're moving from here, this place, this room, to the gaming site. So what they're doing is 이동하다. They're moving their location, position. 이동하다. 그다음에 when she's explaining the rules for red light, green light, which is 무궁화 꽃이 피었습니다. 무궁화 꽃이 피었습니다 in Korean. So in this game, 움직임이 감지되면 탈락입니다. You guys remember the rule from Squid Game, right? 왜 움직임이 감지되면 탈락입니다. 여기서 she used 움직임. So 움직임 means movement as in motion of any kind, even flinching. 감지되다 means detected. So if any movement is detected, so she used 움직임 because she's referring to movement of any form. They cannot flinch at all, right? Or else they'll be detected. It'll all be detected by Young-hee's eyes, that machine they have going on behind Young-hee's eyes, right? So that's the difference between 이동하다 and 움직이다. 그리고 헤일리님이 옮기다. 옮기다는요. 옮기다는 그거예요. It's a transitive verb. 요거는 transitive verb고 both 이동하다, 움직이다 are intransitive verbs. 그렇기 때문에 if you 이동하다 or if you 움직이다, you move, right? But if you 옮기다 something, you always have to have something that you move. 그래서 it means to move something. So the difference between 옮기다 and 이동하다 would be that 이동하다 is intransitive verb. There's no object required. The subject does this action. And 옮기다 is that subject does this action onto an object, a certain other thing. 옮기다. 그래서 if you say, for example, 박스를 I move the box. I move the box. Would you say 옮기다 or 이동하다? Guys, what would you use, guys? To move a box. 뭘까요? 장미님 has a better example. 가구. Let's say to move a furniture. 가구 means furniture. Would you use 옮겨요 or 이동해요? In both examples, you should be using 옮기다 because it has object marker in it, an object, and only transitive verb can have an object. 그렇기 때문에 이거는 옮기다, 옮겨요가 맞습니다. 오케이. 그리고 what else was there? And 이사하다 means to move. 움직이다. 그리고 so as for 이사하다, let's write a few example sentences that have 이사하다. So if you want to say I recently moved, like I recently moved my residence, you can say 뭐 최근에 recently 뭐 이사했어요. 이사했어요. 아니면 if you want to indicate, if you want to express where exactly you moved, you can say 최근에 뭐 if you moved to Seoul, for example, 서울로 to Seoul 이사했어요. I moved to Seoul. 그리고 탈락하다 의미가 뭐예요? 이거 오징어 게임 보시면 if you guys watch Squid Game with Korean original audio, you will hear 탈락입니다. 탈락. 뭐 281번 탈락. You will hear 탈락 a lot. What do you think that means? They always say it after a participant doesn't make it to another round. So what would that mean, guys? 탈락. 탈락 무슨 뜻일까요? 맞아요. Eliminated예요. Eliminated. To be eliminated. It ends in 하다, but its meaning is passive. To be eliminated. 탈락. 그래서 탈락입니다. Means you are elimination, as in you are eliminated. 이게 탈락이야. To break down the 한자, so 탈락 is a Sino-Korean word and it literally means 탈, as in detach. You get off somewhere or you take something off, you detach, and then you fall. It's a little, I don't know, a little cruel word if you break it down. But yeah, it means eliminated from a game or from a competition. 탈락. 그 다음에 let's move on to our last group. Woo, last pair. The last pair예요. 계산하다, 결제하다, 지불하다, and 돈을 내다. So they all mean to pay, but each of them means slightly, like very slightly different things. So first of all, 지불하다 and 돈을 내다 mean the same thing. So 지불하다 is a Sino-Korean word that means to pay money. So literally, to pay money, 돈을 내다, right? And you can think of 지불하다 as a more formal or advanced word, advanced vocabulary compared to 돈을 내다. 돈을 내다 is a pure Korean word, but they both mean to pay, as in to pay money for what you get in return. 그래서, so for the difference between these three words, guys, I brought this sort of, I don't know, this drawing, or this process drawing for you. So the process of, sorry, let me use a different pen. So the process of going to a cashier and then the cashier calculating the sum and making payment and completing the payment and getting receipt. This whole thing is 계산하다. Technically, this whole thing is 계산하다. So 계산하다's primary meaning is to calculate. So I'm sure it's understandable for you guys why it's extended to the meaning of making payment. So this whole thing is 계산하다. And the process of, let me use a different pen, of making payment, whether through a card or cash, and then completing the payment and getting receipt. This is technically 결제하다. 결제하다 literally means to complete the deal. Complete the deal. 결제. So kind of like settling the bill. 그리고 this here, this part here, making payment as in paying money. The literal action, this action itself of paying money is 지불하다. 지불하다. So you can consider 계산하다 as a more, broader term, broader category within which there is 결제하다 and further within which is 지불하다. 지불하다. So, 네, 그런 뜻이고요. 일단은, so that's what it means technically, guys, technically. But in practical situation, in real life situation, guys, 계산하다랑 계산하다 and 결제하다 are commonly interchangeably used when making payment for shopping, whether online or offline. So for instance, when a cashier asks about your payment method, it's common for them to ask you, 뭐 어떻게, how? 계산하시겠어요? 계산하시겠어요? Or 어떻게 결제하시겠어요? So both 계산하다 and 결제하다 are commonly used in the context of shopping. 네, shopping online or offline. 계산하다. 그래서 so as a customer, should I say 계산할게요 or 계산해 주세요? 맞아요. 계산할게요, 계산해 주세요도 맞고 it's also not wrong to say 결제할게요 or 결제해 주세요. It is also fine. 둘 다 맞습니다. They are both interchangeably commonly used in the context of shopping. 그리고 지불하다는요. As for 지불하다, guys. Oops, wrong pen. As for 지불하다. 지불하다는, like we learned, it's a bit more formal and advanced vocabulary, and it's usually used on official documents like invoices or receipts. So for example, on the invoice, 청구서에는 on the invoice, the amount to be paid is specified, right? So you might encounter the phrase like 지불하실 금액. 지불하실 금액. What would this mean, guys? 금액 means like amount of money. So if you break it down, it's 지불하다 plus 시 honorific verb plus 리을 future modifier. So literally, it means amount of money that you will pay. Basically, the amount of money to be paid. Total amount to be paid, right? You have to pay. 그리고, and as for receipts are something that you receive after completing the payment, right? So typically, you will find expressions like 지불하신, right? Verbs, past tense modifier. So 지불하신 금액, 지불하신 금액. Literally, the amount of money that you paid, right? Literally, that's what it means. 그래서 네, 지불하다는 그럴 때 많이 써요. 조금 formal, 좀 advanced한 situation에 많이 쓰입니다. 지불하다. 그리고 as for 돈을 내다. We like I explained, guys. 돈을 내다 sounds relatively casual compared to 지불하다. So it's used in a more casual setting, not like an official document. And actually, guys, 돈을 내다, this expression directly includes the word 돈, money, right? So it's not like super commonly used, especially in like a business setting, because it might sound too direct or demanding. And instead, 내다, you can use 내다 with more specific terms that describe the type of money that you're paying. So for example, if you're paying, so basically 내다 can be used with specifically what you're paying. So for example, if you're paying for a class fee, for example, class fee, you can say 수업. 수업 means class. 료 is a Sino-Korean word that means fee. 수업료를 내다. Or if you're paying for the bus fare, you can say 버스 요금을 내다. If you're paying for transportation fee, 교통비를 내다. If you're paying for your university tuition, you could say 대학교 등록금을 내다. 그리고 like 장민님 says 치료비를 내다도 괜찮아요. The money for your treatment in the hospital. 치료비를 내다. 이런 식으로 쓸 수 있어요. You can use 내다 with what specifically you're paying for. 그리고 like as you guys already noticed, there are many Sino-Korean words indicating money, such as 료, 요금, 비, 금, and there's also like 액, and there's also 불, and so on. And you don't have to like memorize every single one, and it would be more helpful for you guys to remember like which Sino-Korean word is used for which payment. So for example, if you want to say class fee, you say 수업료. Bus fare, you say 요금. When it comes to university tuition, you pay 금. So trying to struggling to find out its exact usage is not really recommended because I think it's going to confuse you more. So it's better to just memorize like the whole vocabulary rather than Sino-Korean word alone. And if you think about it, in English, they also have various words for money depending on the context, such as fee, fare, bucks, and so on. And we English learners have to get used to all of that, right? So it's fair. It's a fair game. Language learning is a fair game, so don't worry about it. All right. So that's how 돈을 내다 can be used. 좋습니다. 그러면 여러분, 일단은 that's everything that I prepared, and I actually brought a quiz. 퀴즈도 가지고 왔는데, 이거는 there are 11 questions. So let's do a quick review quiz that consists of 11 questions, and then we can finish this class. Alright, 좋습니다. 그러면 봅시다. Let's start from number 1. So this is a review quiz, guys. Review quiz based on everything that we learned from pair number 1 to pair number 7. 일단은 볼게요. 문법적으로 어색한 문장을 고르세요. So 문법 means grammar. 문법적으로 grammatically 어색하다 means awkward, unnatural. So unnatural sentence 고르세요. Select one unnatural sentence. 잠깐만요. I think they're having an announcement in my apartment building. 잠깐만요, 여러분. Oh. Okay, I think it's over now. They say the elevator of the building is under construction. But anyway, sorry about the interruption, guys. So select grammatically awkward sentence. 일단은 오웬님 was the first to select number 2. 맞아요. 그러면 can you guys provide a corrected version as well? 일단은 저는 학생이라서 학교에 다녀요. 맞죠? I'm a student, so 학교에 다녀요. Literally, I go to school regularly, as in I attend school. 여행에 다니는 걸 좋아해요. What's wrong with this sentence, guys? 여행에 다니는 걸 좋아해요. Why is it wrong? It's because of a certain particle. 그렇죠, 맞아요. 여행, as I told you guys, 여행 is not a specific place, so it cannot be used with a. It can only be used with object marker, or you can also just remove the particles completely. So you can say 여행을 다니는 걸 좋아해요, or 여행 다니는 걸 좋아해요. 그리고 how about the next one? 머리가 너무 길어서 묶고 다녀요. My hair is long, so 묶고 다녀요. I tie it up and then go about my business, so I have it tied every day. 그 다음에 최근에, recently, 한국에 to Korea 다녀왔어요. Literally, I took the route that's needed to go to Korea, and then I came back. I reached the destination and then I came back. So you can use it like this for places that you have been to before, you have visited earlier in the past. 그래서 여행에 다니는 걸 좋아해요가 틀립니다. This is the wrong one. How about this one? 다니다가 들어가기에 알맞지 않은 부분은, so basically, which part doesn't suit 다니다? Which part would sound unnatural for 다니다 to be inserted? 일단은 뭘까요? 선생님 죄송한데 최근에 한국에 다녀왔어요? 갔다 왔어요? 같은 뜻이죠? Yes, they mean the same thing. 맞아요. 근데 for some reason 다녀왔어요가 뭔가 더 it sounds more softer for some reason. I might be wrong. This is just my personal feeling. But 다녀왔어요, in my opinion, sounds softer. But anyways, which one would sound awkward with 다니다 in it, guys? 빨리 가려고 지름길로 다녀요. 맞죠? 빨리 가려고, in order to go fast, 지름길, we learn, means shortcut. You pass by, basically you regularly use 지름길, shortcut. So 다니다 definitely suits here. How about number 2? 출퇴근할 때, basically when I go off work, 지하철로 다녀요. Yes, it is right? 다니다. I go about using the subway. Basically, I use the subway. 그 다음에 명동 is a name of the district in Seoul. So in this place, in 명동, 사람들이 많이 다녀요. Basically, many people pass by this place. So there are many people. You can find many people. 맞죠? How about next one? 학교에서, in school, at school, 제가 좋아하는 친구들 that I like, 하고, with them, I 다녀요, right? I hang out. I get along with them. I spend most of my time with them at school. So this is correct. 퇴근하고 나서, after 퇴근하다, after getting off work, 집에 다녀요? No, 그렇죠. Like ONC explained here, 집 doesn't go with 다니다. 집 is not a place you 다니다 because you go to 집 for residence, right? But 다니다 is used for purposes that is beyond entertainment or residence. So 집에 다니다 sounds awkward, and you can say 집에 살다. You live in home. You live at your house. You live at home. 그래서 this is the wrong one. How about next one, guys? Which verb? So I briefly mentioned this word during class. I hope you guys remember what verb that was. So which verb means to attend a meeting one time? Not regularly, but just attending it one time. 회의에 다니다, 회의에 참석하다, or 회의를 듣다. 그렇죠. 2번이 맞습니다. Like you guys said. 회의에 참석하다 맞습니다. 회의를 듣다 is rarely used unless you are a third party of the meeting. Like you're not participating in the meeting. You're just an outsider listening to what's happening. So 회의를 듣다는 잘 안 쓰여요. It's very rarely used. And it's 회의에 참석하다. How about, this is easy. Which one means first as in for the first time. It's your first time doing something. Which adverb indicates that? 처음, 먼저, or 일단. 그렇죠. 처음이죠. 처음. 먼저 means first as in before anything else or before everything else, like temporal precedence. Why is it so hard to pronounce this word, guys? 아무튼, something that happened earlier in terms of time. And 일단 is like doing something first and seeing what happens next. So, 처음 means for the first time. How about this one? 문법적으로 grammatically awkward sentence. So select the grammatically ill sentence, guys. You guys have to really pay attention. 좀 어색한. There is one unnatural sentence if you look closely. 어떤 걸까요? I'll give you guys some time. 맞아요. 4번 맞습니다. 그러면 왜 4번일까요, 여러분? 왜? Why is it number 4, guys? Why? 어떻게 바꿔야 될까요? To make it correct, how would you change the fourth sentence? 어떻게 바꿀까요? 일단은 어제 연예인을 처음으로 봤어요. This means yesterday, celebrity for the first time saw. So you saw a celebrity for the first time. You saw a celebrity for the first time. 배가 고파서 먼저 밥을 먹었어요. I was so hungry, so 먼저, first, like before I do anything else, I had meal first. 비가 오니까 it's raining. So 일단 let's first 안으로 들어가자. Let's first go inside and see what happens. Like see when it stops or see what we can do inside. 그다음에 제가 다른 학생들 그쵸? 이거는 먼저 손 들었어요가 맞죠? 먼저 because it's comparing that you raise your hand earlier than other people. So earlier in terms of time, you can express it with 먼저, not 우선, right? 우선, it's more like priority in importance. So 조금 이상해요. 우선 여기서는. 그 다음에 next one. All right. So which one cannot be used to mean anyway? As in changing the subject of the conversation. 여러분 미안해요. I completely left this out. So we learned these four, right? I left out 그건 그렇고. 그건 그렇고 can also be used for anyway, as in changing the topic. So in that, when you're changing the subject of the conversation, you can use 어쨌든, 하여튼, 아무튼, and 그건 그렇고. They're both used for anyway. 그렇기 때문에 I practically gave you guys the answer. 어차피 cannot be used for changing the subject of the conversation. 어차피 means anyway, as in this fact is not going to change or somebody is going to do this anyway, whatever happens. 그 다음에 select one sentence where 담다 or 넣다 is incorrectly used. 어떤 게 있을까요? Select one sentence where 담다 or 넣다 is unnaturally used. 일단은 김치를 그릇에 담았어요. Kimchi is kimchi. It's food. 그릇 is dish. So basically you're putting food into a container. In that case, you can use 담다. 담다 is very commonly used in that case. 이 수업에 사랑을 담았어요. To this class, I put in love. So 담다 can also be used for something abstract and metaphorical. So 사랑을 담다, also okay. How about 커피에 시럽을 담았어요. 그렇죠, 여러분. 3번이 틀립니다. 3번이 틀려요. 왜일까요? 커피에 시럽을 담았어요. 시럽 means syrup. Syrup is kind of like ingredient, right? So when you're putting an ingredient into a mixture, like you're adding something, adding an ingredient to already made food or mixture, you use 넣다. Remember, guys? 넣다. So 커피에 시럽을 담았어요는 잘 안 쓰여요. It's very rarely used like this. We more say 시럽을 넣다. 넣다. 다음에 to put money in the wallet 맞고 손이 시려워서 my hands felt cold. 시렵다. My hands felt cold. So 주머니에 손을 넣었어요. So I put my 손, hand, 주머니 in the pocket. 그래서 다 맞고 이제 3번이 틀리죠. 그 다음에 이건 어떨까요? So you guys can read the whole Korean sentence and select the most natural one according to context. 뭘까요? 사람들에게 예뻐 보이고 싶어서 to people 예뻐 보이다. 예쁘다, 예쁘다, pretty, 예뻐 보이다, to look pretty. So I want to look pretty to other people. So 매일 뭐고 다녀요. 뭐 하고 다녀요. We learn 고 다녀요. Right? 그쵸? 꾸미고 다녀요. 꾸미고 맞습니다. 왜일까요? 왜냐면 she's basically saying she enhances her own looks. She decorates herself. And 꾸미다, only 꾸미다 can be used for decorating a person or a living thing. So 꾸미다. 그 다음에 여기서는 무궁화 꽃이 피었습니다. 이 게임 알죠? 무궁화 꽃이 피었습니다. It's one of the games on Squid Game. Red light, green light. So in red light, green light game, when you're doing that 게임을 할 때 조금이라도 even just a bit 뭐뭐 하면 안 돼요. 면 안 돼요. It's like you're not allowed to. It's prohibited. So basically you cannot do even just a bit. 뭘까요? You cannot move. You cannot make any motion for basically, right? So 움직이면 안 돼요가 맞습니다. 좋아요. 움직이면 안 돼요. 그리고 여러분 이것도 제가 깜빡했네요. 송금하다 이거를 깜빡했는데 여러분 잠깐만요. Let me briefly explain this, guys. 돈을 내다 means to pay money, right? But what if you want to transfer money? Transferring money doesn't always equal paying money, right? Because when you transfer money, you might be sending your friend the money that you borrowed or something that's different from paying, right? In that case, you can use 돈을 보내다, to send money, or you could also be specific with what you're paying and say 뭐뭐를 보내다. So, for example, if you're sending your class fee to your tutor, then you can say 수업료를 보냈어요. 선생님, 수업료를 보냈어요. I transfer money to your PayPal account or bank account. 그리고 이체하다도 괜찮아요. 네, 이체하다도 괜찮아요. 이체하다 is a more formal and more advanced word. 이체하다도 괜찮아요. 돈을 이체하다. 그리고 you can also say 송금하다. 송 is a Sino-Korean word that comes from this 한자, which means send. So basically you send money. 송금하다. 그래서 so I forgot to include this, guys, but now we learned it, and so you guys know the answer. 수업료를 I transfer the class fee. How would you say it, guys? Is it 송금했어요, 결제했어요, or 계산했어요? So 결제 and 계산 are mostly used in the context of shopping at a store or like offline store or online store. But when you're transferring the money to someone's bank account, it's either 송금하다 or 이체하다. So it's 송금하다. And last one, guys, last one. I paid the bus fee. I paid the bus fee. 여기서는 어떤 게 가장 자연스러울까요? Which one would sound most natural in this kind of paying? Paying the bus fee. 그렇죠. 레이티시니아 님이 좀 빨랐는데 1번이에요. 버스 요금을 냈어요. The reason why 계산했어요 doesn't work is because, like we learned, 계산했어요 and 결제했어요 are usually used in the context of shopping at a store, either online or offline. But when you take a bus, you're not shopping, right? You're just paying for the service, the transportation service. So 여기서는 냈어요가 맞습니다. All right, so we got 100% on this quiz. Yay! So I will put the link to this quiz in the description box. All right, 그러면 I will end the class here, guys, and I will see you in the next class. 그리고 yes, I will see you guys in the next class. I'm not sure I'm not sure how I could do an outro of this class, but I'll end it by saying thank you for participating in this class. 수업에 참석해 주셔서 고맙습니다. 네, 그리고 I look forward to having another class with you guys, and I'll see you next class. All right. 그러면 여러분, have a good night or day wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in. And see you next time. 여러분, 안녕. Bye bye.